morning and welcome to Today in LA. I'm Mike Amos speaking to you from our studios at Troy Cable on South Brundage Street. In Troy, we're facing a beautiful day, hopefully. Whether it's overcast or not overcast, remains to be seen. But he's Bill Rice and he's Forrest Lee as we start a Wednesday on the January the 5th as we move on.
What year is it?
2022.
Did you see where President Biden gave an address to the nation and he said in the year 2020 we can all agree?
Oh no. Oh no.
Well, we all do that. When the new year changes, we all want to stub our checks the year before. So it was strange that he went back 2 years.
Of course, a lot going on. Alabama getting ready, Georgia getting ready for what I think will be the biggest and maybe perhaps the best college football game ever played. And I just can't see anything else. When those two giant teams meet right here, it's going to be right here. We talked about it right here. You got to win up front. And both of them have a great opportunity to win up front. They're both good up front, especially Georgia. And then at the same time, who can run the football? And whoever can run the football is going to win the game.
I like that analysis. Tough to run on Georgia. Alabama didn't run on Georgia in the last game. Didn't need to.
Yeah, you're right. You're exactly right. And I tell you what, I don't think number 4 for Alabama has ever played any better than he played in that game in his life. I hope he's got another one left in him.
Me too, Mike.
Because he was really good in the game against your
the Bearcats
favorite team, the Bearcats.
We're waiting on the injury report from Alabama. The right side of the line where they get to play.
I mean, do we know yet?
They heard anything.
It could be a completely new half of the offensive line. The center is new, the right guard is new, a freshman, and the right tackle will probably be new. That's 3 of your 5 offensive linemen that weren't starting, 3 games ago.
Well, Forrest, I'm we laid back as we can be. I'm used to seeing my pretty face on that screen, and it's not on there. Can you get that, Forrest?
I'll try.
Change that channel, Forrest.
Let's see if I can turn it on. Maybe that's all we have to do.
This is laid back television at its very best. Of course, it's 7:03, and
what Mike's talking about is the monitor's not on. Normally we got a TV monitor right under the camera, and we can look at so I can look at how long my hair is.
Well, let me ask you this: it's just it's like this in the South, I reckon. Yesterday at this time, there was about a ½ inch of ice on my windshields, and I couldn't even get it off. And I rode to the studio with a crick in my neck, and but today it was fine.
It's not as cold, not nearly as cold.
It's all right, I didn't know where Steve was, but we're back on our screen now, thank goodness. We're going to go to Netflix, then over to Rocco, back up to Hulu, over to Disney. And now to Troy Cablevision in Troy, Alabama, where you can be seen live on Facebook across the nation.
See, now I can see that I need to pull down this collar. Thank you very much.
Rice has.
And I can probably need to do this.
Rice looks like a rich playboy that he is, ladies and gentlemen. He's a rich playboy, and don't you think so?
I look like Warren Beatty.
No,
yeah, he's a rich playboy.
You know, it looks like Warren Beatty. Or used to when he was younger, in my opinion. My friend Robert Hawkins.
Oh, really?
Yeah, that's a compliment to Robert.
All right, let's work on that.
Or did he look like Cary Grant?
Ladies and gentlemen, we work on things like this all the time. Tell us about some other people that look like somebody.
Oh, I like this.
I
have written a column about this before, so I've got several in mind. Now, this is when they were younger.
Yeah, Forrest looks like the former state senator from Georgia, most popular state senator ever from Georgia. What's his name? Come on.
A state senator or not a U.S. senator?
U.S. senator. I'm sorry.
Sam Nunn?
No, not Sam Nunn. The other one.
Newt.
The great Newt.
He was a congressman.
Well, he's a congressman or whatever. Well, he favors Forrest a little bit, doesn't he?
Well, the kids teased me at school, but when I was at middle school, Kung Fu Panda, and the guy on Up.
Let's see now.
All right, I'm gonna name off some for you. Believe it or not, Al Bracewell, when he was in high school and early in college, looked like a young Kevin Costner.
Oh, really? Al Bracewell?
Not more. Mark Ham, Marlon Ham's brother.
Yeah.
When he was younger, looked like a young Tom Cruise. So these are compliments to these people. I think Eddie Barnett looked like kind of like Matt Dillon a little bit.
Oh boy, you know.
I think my friend Charles Bradshaw looked a little bit like the character Jack from the TV show Lost.
Evidently, you played this game before.
No, I wrote a post or a column one time about people I knew that looked like other people.
Yeah.
Lynn Haney, when she was younger, looked like Steven Spielberg's second wife.
She married my good friend Steve Colley too.
Steven Spielberg's second wife, I think her name is Kate Capshaw. She was in the second.
Yeah.
She was in one of the Indiana Jones movies.
Oh, of course, ladies and gentlemen.
There is one of my wife's best friends, Jessica Kane Murphy, looks like the actress that played Princess Leia in Star Wars.
Oh boy, that's quite a compliment.
Yeah. So there's a couple that you starting to look like Coach Bryant.
Yeah, with my beard. You know, I'm growing this beard for the first time in my life. It's good. But let me tell you what. I went by Raymond's yesterday, and not only did he push me back and put the hot towels on my face, he shaved my neck, you know, with this razor, shaved my neck, and then he put the hot towels on it, and then they gave me a rub down. The lady next to Raymond does a great job of massaging your neck, and I got that work done, and he told me to come back anytime and get that work done. So, you know, I'm gonna just depend on Raymond trimming up. In fact, they went ahead and gave me a haircut, and I appreciate that. And I tell you, Raymond and the lady next to her, they can cut hair as good as anybody. And I always said, you know, hey, we got Raymond. Who else do we need when it comes to being pretty?
Right. You know, Raymond, whenever I grow a beard and I want to cut it off, I'll get him to just cut it close as he can, and then I can go home and shave it a whole lot easier. But, you know, you think about Raymond, he's about the only male barber we have in Troy, maybe even Pike County, that I know of.
That, you know what? You're exactly right.
That's interesting. You might be right.
And at one time, all right, listen to this. All right, tell me where at one time there was a drugstore, which was where Raymond cut hair as a young man. He was downtown.
Red Stinson.
Red Stinson. Right around the corner from Red Stinson was
Junior Bird.
Who?
Junior Bird.
Junior was uptown. Junior Bird, and then Red, and then oh gosh, what was my name?
At one time we had Lanier Beasley, but
well, I'm talking about it.
Yeah, but that's
at one time there was at least 5 barbershops on the square in Troy.
I haven't seen Lanier in a long time.
Yeah, Bobby Griffin, he's doing all right. Bobby Griffin was down the street on North 3 Notch, and Cy, I can't remember the last name, but Cy had one right down the street from the drugstore, and that drugstore was...
Who cut hair in Brundage?
I don't know, but...
We had several in Luverne, and there was a guy in Goshen named Snow Golden. He was a his brother was Jeff Golden's brother.
Yeah.
Snow Golden, he had a little wooden box haircutting place.
So really, like I said, it was at least 5 barbershops on the square, and then you had drugstores. You had Bird drugstores. You had what's the one up around the corner?
Bird Waters.
Bird Waters, which is now Cinco, and up the street was one of the most popular McLeod drugs.
See, how do I know all this? And I wasn't even around.
All these places you could go in and get something to eat, especially at Bird Drugs, and also at McLeod's. McLeod's had a real good hamburger.
I'm going to do a big story on Bird Drugs one of these days. I'm supposed to have already have done it, but I interviewed the Watsons, and they once had an elaborate lunch that they did, much more elaborate than even today.
And I want to say our prayers to Joe's family. They had some hardship, and we need to pray for them. And
they
lost a loved one. There we go. Here, it could be
like
Mike
Amos. Tea, Colin.
Good morning. You're on Today in L.A. How you doing?
Morning. Trying to get your grandkids off to school for the first time in 19 days.
Oh, boy.
We did the same thing this morning, so good luck.
So I didn't even look at the final score. How bad did LSU get beat? I thought they were down 21-0.
42-20.
And you know how they did? They threw a touchdown pass on the last play of the game threw a bomb. Nobody was looking. 70-yard bomb on the last play of the game made it 20.
Their quarterback.
What an embarrassing loss.
Jean-Trey Kirkland was the quarterback. That's the first time he's been a quarterback since 2016.
He's
when he was
pretty
good.
Pretty good little athlete. He made some things happen for him, but
he was 7'11", 138 yards, 3 touchdowns, 2 interceptions. But it's going to be rebuild.
I tell you what,
LSU.
Kansas State was good though. They had a quarterback that was outstanding. They had 2 running backs, and one of them is just a great little running back.
And Oklahoma's had another receiver fly the coop.
Yeah.
Mario Williams, he's a freshman All-American. 35 catches, 380 yards for 4 touchdowns. From Plant City, Florida.
One of you might have mentioned this, but I'm worried. It looks like they're going to be playing games with the colleges right now. That's what the quarterback at Oklahoma is doing. He's starting to play games. I'm going to take a look at what's out there, but I'm going to come back to you if I don't like them.
It's all about who can pay them the most money.
That's right.
That's what it comes down to.
I agree with you. You're exactly right. A great article, Mike, on Mac Jones in the Advertiser today, and talks about Jones having historic rookie season, and I didn't mention that just a while ago, but I don't know if his mouthpiece makes him look like it, but whether he's got his mouth excuse me, whether he's got his mouthpiece in or out, he looks like he's always smiling. Have you noticed that?
They call him the Joker.
Look, looks like he's smiling right there.
Yeah,
look.
Throwing the pass.
Maybe that's his mouthpiece that makes him look that way. But they talk about how great he was, and these receivers talk about how easy it is to catch his passes.
Okay.
He don't knock you. From what I gather, he just don't knock your hands off.
Good touch.
A lot of these guys drop the ball because they throw it too hard.
In his first year, he's thrown a lot of short, medium range, controlled passes. But when he was at Alabama, he threw it down the field. He threw long. He took shots. So I think as he gets going and gets better receivers and more comfortable in the offense, you're going to see him start throwing the longer passes. Yeah. Because he proved at Alabama he can do it.
Oh yeah, but and he's just a classy little football player, really, and he's not real physical, but at the same time he weighs over 220, doesn't he?
Probably about the same. Yeah. He's
it looks like if anybody wants to go to the national championship game, Delta's going to be adding flights out of Birmingham's airport, Huntsville's airport. Departures are scheduled on Saturday, January the 8th, while returning flights planned to be back on Tuesday, January the 11th. So anybody that wants to go to the game, you'll have an opportunity to fly out of Birmingham or Huntsville.
I wonder how much it costs round trip from Birmingham.
I would not think that much to Indianapolis. I mean, that's not a long flight.
No, not at all.
I mean, I flew to Vegas out of Birmingham a couple months ago for $250 round trip.
Hey, that's not bad. Well, it'll be interesting to see if it's sold out. I guess it will be. That stadium only seats about 68,000, I think.
Yeah.
Yesterday you can get a ticket for about $550 yesterday.
I mean, this has to be the farthest north they've played a national championship game in years, wouldn't you say?
Yeah.
They played one out in California that Forrest Lee went to. We might want to remember that one though.
Have they ever played in Indianapolis for a national championship? I don't think so.
I don't think so.
A lot of basketball, probably Final Fours, maybe.
Yeah, you're right. Of course, it's the home of the NCAA, isn't it?
Yeah, I think so.
Hope everybody's doing well today and on this Wednesday, and of course,
back to school day for Troy City Schools.
That's right,
and for Grayton Beach kids.
And I tell you what,
not for Mountain Brook kids though. Mountain Brook's making the kids stay at home the rest of the week.
Oh man, so my little granddaughter stays at home. Is that right? She lives in Mountain Brook.
I'll tell you what, the one word would have thrown me for a loop when I was in school would be the word virtual.
Define virtual, please.
Where you go on a computer trying to learn from your teacher via a computer or a taped lesson. Wouldn't that be right?
The New York Times was one of the big advocates of lockdowns and all the non-pharmaceutical interventions to slow the curve and stop the spread of COVID. Yesterday, their main COVID writer comes out with a big story saying the worst thing that they did was keep kids out of school and, keep kids from exercising and playing sports and making them social distance. He says that has been a disaster, and delayed learning and mental illness and depression, and we're not even going to know for years how bad this has hurt kids. So I noted that said thank you for saying that. 2 years late, but I agree with him. The kids need to go ahead and be in school, and no offense to the great leaders in Mountain Brook, but those kids can go to school and they're going to be perfectly fine.
Well, the number one player in tennis, Novak Djokovic, announced he's the number one world player. He announced on Tuesday that he received an exemption to play in the Grand Slam tournament, the Australian Open, in Melbourne this week, and he's headed to Australia. But the Prime Minister said yesterday he has to prove that he has a genuine medical exemption or he will be on the next plane out of Australia.
And that's something.
So he's going to have to prove his genuine medical exemption in order for him to play in the Australian Open.
Isn't he like the defense? You said
he's the number one player in the world.
He always wins that, and he's competing with this other guy to get the most all-time major championships. Your daughter, Rebecca, is the tennis expert. She can tell us all this.
And of all the men's basketball programs I read today on Alabama.com, more than 115 Division men's basketball programs have either postponed, delayed, or delayed now because of COVID.
All right, let's talk about it. Your favorite word, COVID. Now, they say spreading like wildfire in the state of Alabama. Can you believe that, Bryce?
Well, they say it's spreading everywhere.
And what would you wouldn't you just recommend that people go home and put the mask on, or what? Or put the mask on and then go home, or whatever?
Well, yeah, because the masks have been so effective at stopping the spread, over the last 2 years.
But then I've heard so many times that the mask doesn't do any good.
It doesn't do any good.
I'll
tell you what you're talking about contrarian, so take it for what it's worth. The little disclaimer here, this is not Troy Cable's opinion or Mike Amos's opinion. The N95 mask, the real fancy, expensive mask, they might make a little difference if you wear it properly and all the time, but the cloth masks make no difference whatsoever. Then they probably do more harm than good if you really think about it. So in my opinion, it's all optics and theater, and but I mean, people talk. They can say, you can find studies that say, oh, the little cloth masks work, and then you can find just as many studies that say no, they do absolutely no good. The study I would look at is the study of the nation of Sweden, which is the one placebo nation. Sweden never stopped sending kids to school. You know, in America, we went, for 4 months with no school. Well, Sweden just kept sending their kids to school. Not only did they send all their kids to school, there was no mask requirement. Kids did not wear masks at school in Sweden. Not only that, they didn't have social distancing rules. The kids were just the same in 2020 and 2020 as they were in 2018 and 2019. So you say, oh my God, Sweden, no kids wore masks, and they kept going to school, and they let kids hug and play with each other, no social distancing. Must be just a morgue full of deaths of children in Sweden. No, in the first year of the pandemic, there was no school child in Sweden that died. So that is a case study of 2 million children over 2 years, comparing one cohort that didn't wear masks to everybody else that did. So, I mean, isn't that the scientific method? You compare two groups. One group did something, another group did not do something, and compare the results. That's your math study to me that should carry the greatest weight.
This is for the state of Alabama. There's over.
Florida schools. My daughter is about to go to kindergarten at a school that has 960 kids, and the whole year nobody's been required to wear a mask. So I hope those numbers in Sweden
I hope they know what they're doing.
Continue to stay in Florida, because as soon as we send her there today, she's going to be around 960 other kids.
Well, let's say they contract the virus. 50% of kids will be asymptomatic, and then the other 45% will be very, very mild symptoms. But
I'm just saying, Troy City schools are having to wear masks today.
Oh, I know.
Pike County too.
I went to the Troy City School Board and said, you don't need to do this. I was the one speaker. They gave me 3 minutes to make
recently?
No, this is about 6 months ago. When I started giving my remarks, then somebody said, you got a minute and a half. I almost said, screw it. Thank you a lot. I appreciate it.
But you have a right to speak. You're right.
Yeah, they gave me 3 minutes. But they're all following the Alabama Department of Public Health guidance and the Fauci guidance, and they're not going to change now.
Well,
I've got the ultimate COVID test. I'm going to New Orleans for the weekend for a wedding. So if I don't get it in New Orleans, I can get it anywhere.
Oh boy, knock on wood, please. Of course, 8,000 new cases of COVID in the state of Alabama.
Well, I can compare that. I'll give you some data on that, Mike.
8,000 new cases.
It was more than that a couple of days ago. And before this Omicron wave, the highest case numbers per day in Alabama was like 5,600 or 6,000. That was last January. Remember, we had a terrible spike last winter. And it did. It just went off the charts. But this is 50% greater than last year. 8,000 cases a day.
But now, one thing good, though, ladies and gentlemen, and one thing good, and I don't know what the percentages are, but the very few deaths. Mm-hmm. So this is not as strong a virus as previous viruses. Is that right?
The deaths compared year to year over year are down significantly. That is the great news.
And the hospitalizations are down.
The hospitalizations are up, but they're up for non-COVID issues, really, although they test everybody, so it's very likely that you could be there for a car accident and broken bone.
Let me tell you.
You get COVID, test positive while you're in the hospital, and so they count you as COVID, but you're not there to be treated for COVID. But
I want to ask you about this. There's a drugstore, and I know it's probably the same with all drugstores in Troy, especially the drive-through. All right, the drive-through yesterday was about 10 or 12 cars, and it was just about to reach the street, and they were at the drive-in window. Well, I find out that what caused so much time, they were getting tested.
Mm-hmm.
They were testing themselves. They handed it, and look, and they stuck it in the nose, and they tested themselves, and then put it in a pouch and seal it, and move on. They were, and this happened all day yesterday at CVS.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm sure a lot of other drugstores are just like it. But
let me ask you this question: why are they getting tested?
I don't know.
I mean, if they positive? What are they going to do? I mean, there's really they've.
You got 5 days of quarantine, don't you?
Well, that's what
right.
the authorities and the protocols say. I mean, but
schools is 10.
Yeah.
What I'm saying is, if they get it, they're going to be fine in a couple of days, or they might have a week of flu-like symptoms. But basically, stay at home, stay away from other people. The same thing you've done when you got sick your whole life.
Well, if they're not feeling good, they're going to get tested, so they don't want to infect someone else if they go to a major setting like school or whatever. That's probably one reason they're getting tested. Or their workplace, if you have symptoms, you need to go get tested before you come back to work.
On Monday, there was more than 1,100 people hospitalized for COVID, and including 34 pediatric cases. At the beginning of last month, the state had about 300 COVID patients hospitalized. So right now, there's a lot more people being
looks like
hospitalized.
We got more bad news on the way too. In France yesterday, they've discovered another COVID-19 variant called IHU.
Oh boy!
IHU is now in France, so that will follow, I guess, Omicron and Delta. Now, how do you know right now, Rice, if you're getting Delta or Omicron? What's the difference?
You know, the labs would have and the doctors would. Some people know that. Some don't. I mean, the labs would have to do a specific test to say, yeah, you got this variant or not. I think it's mostly Omicron, but it's not all Omicron.
I think I heard.
I just thought it was amazing. Like we were in Mount Brook over the Christmas holidays, and you heard about the Omicron hit New York, and they were saying, "Oh, we're seeing our first cases." I mean, by the time we left that weekend, we knew 20 people in the neighborhood we were living in, or staying in, that had already come down with Omicron. I mean, that's how quick it goes, I guess.
Yeah, well, it's more contagious.
Spread is that fast, I guess.
Yeah, the mutants, the variants, the new variants spread faster, but the good news is they're milder when you get them, so it's not as severe as the early cases. So more people get.
Any chance that means since they're not as severe that it's slowly coming to an end?
Yeah, some people think that. Yeah, they're getting weaker and more contagious.
You notice both these guys are stuttering.
And well, what percentage of the population has had this virus by now? It has to be 80%. So natural immunity is 70-80% of the country by now has to have some immunity, either natural immunity or from the vaccines.
I got some local basketball news.
All right, give us some right now.
Well, Pike Liberal Arts defeated the Wiregrass Kings 69-62. They improved their record of 14-1. Austin Cross led the way with 18 points. Mario Davenport had 16 with 3 dunks. Mm-hmm. Ian Foster had 11 points. Drew Nelson and Darrell Lee both had 10. Davenport had 8 rebounds, Foster 4 steals, and Lee 3 assists. Pike Liberal Arts will travel to Greenville to play Fort Dale tomorrow. They'll play 4 games starting at 4 o'clock with the JV girls. And Charles Henderson will travel to Luverne tomorrow to play the Luverne Tigers. And the first tip of that's going to be about 4:30.
Getting back to what Michael was talking about with the testing. and Forrest, you were talking about this too, and Mike, they're going to the drugstore and getting these tests. Well, there are these guidelines. The Alabama Department of Public Health says you still need to quarantine for 10 days. So as we have seen, just about tons of people are testing positive. I just read Mike's story right there. It said the positivity rate in Alabama is like 36%. So for every 100 tests that are administered, 36 people are testing positive. Well, the quarantines, if you follow those and you got to stay at home for 10 days, think of all the people that are having to stay at home. That's why you're having these massive employee shortages, flights canceled, public works people not being able to pick up the trash. That's going to have a big ripple effect around America. And people having to get child care for the, like in Mountain Brook where their kids can't go to school.
Well, I think 85% of the wives in Mountain Brook don't work.
Yeah, so that might be a moot point in Mountain Brook. Yes, right.
Troy basketball will be back at home tomorrow night. They're having a promotion for the Coastal Carolina game. Thursday, January 6th, a season ticket holder appreciation night. All basketball season ticket holders may request 2 complimentary general admission tickets to the game, and prizes will be drawn throughout the game for season ticket holders. Fans will also have an opportunity to buy one and get one free on all courtside seats. It is also Thursday, and fans can get $2 soft drinks all game. Finally, it should be a great halftime show, Dad, with the performance of the Shebang Dance.
Oh, I love Shebang. They were great last time I saw them there.
Man, that was some great promotions right there.
They do a great job of promoting it. They
also, on Saturday, when they play Appalachian State, the promotions will continue as this Dollar Day at Trojan Arena. Fans can get general admission tickets, soft drinks, popcorn, and hot dogs, all for $1.
Whoa!
Wow.
Troy Cheer will perform their UCA Nationals routine during halftime of the game before the squad departs to Orlando for their competition. Kids court will be set up in practice gym for kids to enjoy games and inflatables. So come down to Trojan Arena and let's support this team. They're 10-5.
4 o'clock.
Right.
It'll be
4 o'clock.
4 o'clock on Saturday and 6 o'clock tomorrow. So mark your calendar.
Yeah.
I told my father-in-law, Frank Fryer, he has never been to a Troy basketball game in the new arena, and I said, well, we're going to go.
That's right. You need to go. It's going to be a lot of fun.
The women are 10-5. They'll play at Texas State tomorrow night on Thursday at 7 o'clock, and then they'll play at UT Arlington on Saturday at 2. So, for 10-5, off to a good start.
The virus is hammering Puerto Rico. They say the government has reported more than 200,000 confirmed cases and more than 3,300 deaths. So, there are people still dying from this. The number of daily cases per 100,000 people reported Puerto Rico rose from 3 to 225 in just 3 weeks. So that's not good.
Breaking news on Troy University. 2-time All-Sun Belt linebacker, 3-time All-American is returning for another season.
Whoa! Hurrah! Hurrah!
Carlton Marshall is coming back.
Number 2 is coming back, believe you me.
It's actually going to be his 6th year of college. He was a redshirt senior this year. So he will basically be playing on the field 5 years. So pretty amazing.
Well, didn't you say he can set the all-time tackle record in college football history?
104 tackles away from being the all-time tackling record holder. The record is held by a guy that played at Northwestern.
If he breaks that record, they ought to put a statue of him out beside the arena. Wouldn't you think?
That's a big-time record.
Sure is. We're looking at
John Summerall said, boom. He's really excited to have Marshall back, as you can imagine.
Oh, yeah.
I imagine there was a lot of people trying to get Marshall to transfer.
You would think so. Now, the linebacker, Donald, is he come back? Is he going to be able to have another year?
Which one?
Don't they have a linebacker from Iowa?
Oh, yeah, he's coming back, McDonald.
And McDonald or whatever his name is. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, that's two pretty good guys to bolster your defense. No question about it. And of course, ladies and gentlemen, of course, we're not trying to scare you this morning, but wear a mask if you're going into the public places like a courthouse or a drugstore, or anywhere where there are people, a large amount of people, and
Will be interesting to see when we go to the basketball game Thursday night how many people are wearing masks.
Yeah, I know it.
A great picture here on Twitter. John Summerall's family standing in front of a huge Troy 18-wheeler, Coleman Transportation. That's John Coleman's family out of Dothan. Married me at the beach. But all his little girls and his little son are standing in front of the truck. They're moving the family down from Kentucky.
Oh, gosh, that's great. The COVID's moving them.
He's got 4 children. They're all under 10 years old. What's the oldest?
Yeah.
Exactly.
Well, they got to start school. I wonder where they're going to school.
Troy just hired Joe Craddock as their offensive coordinator. Of course, he's making the move from UAB. And I noticed yesterday that UAB's got 8 former starters, including their former starting quarterback, in the transfer portal. So a lot of players are leaving UAB trying to, I would assume, get to the Power 5 level.
All right, let me tell you what's happening. Let me tell you what's happening. All right, here I am. I'm at North UAB, and we're going to UAB. And then I was talking to some guys in the dorm, and they said, I want some money. I mean, why aren't we getting paid? Those guys over at Alabama and Auburn getting paid. Why aren't we getting paid? Mm-hmm. Well, I tell you what, let's do. Let's get in the portal and let's shop around. And if Oregon State is paying guys, I might want to go to Oregon State.
Good morning. You're on Today in L.A.
Hey, Bill. It's Will Matthews.
Hey, Will. Happy New Year.
Will Matthews, I went by the Yellow House and you were not there, Will.
No, I was in Dallas.
I know you in Dallas. They say you were showing off. They said you had a Will sticker on your back, on your front, and on your back.
Had a good time.
Tell us what you did. Did you?
I drove out there.
Did you go by yourself?
No. Of course not. Took this lady I've been seeing. But anyway, we stayed in Bossier City. You ever heard of Bossier City?
I've heard of it.
Yeah, it's next to Shreveport, isn't it?
Yeah.
Right next to Shreveport. We stayed at a casino there for Thursday and Friday nights, and then went to the game from there. It wasn't about 2.5 hours to Dallas. And had a good time. I was shocked at the number of Cincinnati people that were there.
They supported their team, didn't they?
The crowd was 75% Cincinnati.
Really?
Yeah. I've never seen that at an Alabama bowl game.
Yeah. They were proud folks, and, they didn't play very well.
Once in a lifetime.
Mm-hmm.
I think if they played Alabama again, they would have played them better. I think they had the skill to play with Alabama.
They're only down 11 in the fourth quarter. Well, they just got totally blown out.
Yeah, I know it.
Yeah, right. Well, I mean, but Alabama just fooled around with them. I think Alabama could have thrown on them all night and didn't. They just ran the ball, ran the clock. Real conservative game plan.
Well, I tell you what. Robinson really played a super
I hope you loaded up on Kansas State last night, Will.
Did you say was Jerry World? You said it was full, or what was the attendance like? Total.
It was about 80,000, I think, something like that.
So it seats 90,000, 95,000.
Yeah, there were some empty seats, but I couldn't notice.
They say the place is like playing in a huge convention center.
Well, I mean, it's a great stadium, and that TV deal is really nice. The Jumbotron covers the whole field almost. Covers the whole field. It's huge. Cowboys got whipped up on by Arizona over the weekend. Did y'all watch Dallas get beat by Arizona?
Yeah, Arizona did some real good trick plays on them and stuff, and you got to do that to pull an upset. Well, I'll be in Indianapolis. I got my tickets yesterday.
Now, how much you had to pay for them, Will?
We're not going to talk about
that. Oh.
We'll find it off the air.
Will, what's your plan on that? Are you going to go up the day before, or are you going to go up on Saturday?
I'm going up. I'm actually Friday. I'm going to drive about halfway, and then come in Saturday, and I'm staying at a casino in Cincinnati, which is only 80 miles away. So that's going to work out good.
You're right.
Hotel rooms in Indianapolis were $1,000 a night, which is ridiculous.
I bet. Yeah.
Well, you get on I-65 and you can't miss. You go right through the heart of it.
That's right. Go straight up I-65.
You're not that far from Chicago either.
I ain't going to Chicago.
So Cincinnati has casinos. I didn't even know that. There's casinos everywhere.
Everybody's got them.
Everybody.
Yeah.
But Alabama.
St. Louis has casinos. Dad and I stayed in a casino.
Oh, I've been to some nice places in St. Louis.
Well, I talked about that the other day. The government wants to get that gambling money, so you got two states. You got the states that already have their casinos and the states that will have their casinos. And Alabama really has a couple.
I'll be at the Boulder Box tomorrow night.
Really?
Be careful.
There's only 4 states in the country that don't have gambling. 4.
Really?
Alabama's one of them. Yeah, Alabama's one of them. Now Alabama's got those Indian places, but that's it.
Yeah. Have you ever gone to these places in Atmore and Montgomery and the casinos there?
Well, there's one in Wetumpka.
Yeah, Wetumpka. Are people making money?
Yes.
Yeah, they're making money.
Well, I mean, I know they're making money, but are people like me making money?
24/7. What about Victoryland, where McGregor and all that built? Did that ever end up being slot machines again, or is it just a dog track and shorter?
It's just, I don't know what it is.
No, they have
something.
They've got gambling. I know that.
Milton McGregor.
They have horse, you can gamble.
Mike, you probably know Milton McGregor, and I knew him a little bit because when I was the editor of the Montgomery Independent, he was a big booster of our newspaper. Real nice man.
Let me tell you, mine and your good friend Steve Flowers was real good.
Yeah,
he thought that he hung the moon. He really liked.
Very down to earth and friendly. But Milton, he worked so hard to get Victoryland.
Yeah.
And he had a long-term vision. He even built a sports book in that place for the possibility that one day they would legalize sports wagering in Alabama, which is going to happen. He was just 10 years too early. And I still don't like what Bob Riley did to Milton McGregor. Just kind of went to war with him.
You know what? If Bob Riley hadn't been around, we'd be having legalized gambling in Alabama probably. I don't know. Some people are for it, some people are against it, and this Mike that we're talking about I'm watching on TV in Florida about $1 billion, how Florida's missing out on $1 billion a year for education. What money is that coming from?
Well, I mean, they've had the lottery for years.
I know they've had lottery.
Legalized gambling. The Seminole Indian tribe is wanting to allow sports gambling throughout the state of Florida, and then they're also wanting to build casinos throughout the state of Florida. They have them down in Miami and a few other places in South Florida, but they want to do some stuff around the Panhandle.
You would think if they had it in Miami, they'd have to legalize it in Tallahassee.
Yeah, wouldn't you?
Like
You're right. But so much of it is in Indian tribal
land is where they're trying to do stuff.
Wasn't it funny that now once it was don't do it, now it's everywhere. Same with marijuana legalization. It was just like if you would have said 20 years ago we're going to legalize, decriminalize marijuana, people's jaws would have hit the floor.
But
and now 20 states have done it, and in 10 more years there'll be 25 states that have done
I
it.
guarantee you, though, if you're out and smoking
A joint?
marijuana or whatever you call it, joint, whatever you call it, they'd put you in jail in Alabama.
Yeah, right.
They put you in
Will,
jail.
Will, you're a golf expert. You're the former great bandy golfer. The Tournament of Champions is going on out in Hawaii. That's all the guys that won tournaments last year. Will you watch any golf this weekend?
I might. I'm gonna be in Indianapolis. I'll be watching some of it probably.
Bill Nicholson decided he was going to play. He has not played in this tournament in years, so Nicholson will play. Justin Thomas, Jordan Spieth are playing together. Nicholson's playing with Hideki. It's a beautiful golf course to watch on television.
Yeah, it's going to be beautiful.
Beautiful, it is.
It's going to be a lot of fun to watch.
I'm looking at Mike's advertiser. It's got a headline that says Virginia motorists stranded all night. From what I read, some people were stuck in their car for 24 hours. They get on the icy stretches of the highway and then they can't move and nobody can come get them.
It was terrible.
Well, I remember a couple years ago that happened in Alabama on I-65, and one of my good friends, Wes Gaylord, he was one of those people. He spent the night in his car.
But I bet you some people died for exposure to the bad weather.
Well, what happened was it was snowmageddon. They got the forecast wrong, and everybody got stranded on the highways and all the interstates. And I mean, it was horrible. A lot of families couldn't get to their kids, and a lot of kids had to spend overnight in the schools.
Now, who got it wrong? Who got it wrong, Mike?
Well, I mean, I just remember when all that happened. I was dating my I guess now wife. And, she couldn't. People couldn't get up to Red Mountain where she lived for about 3 or 4 days because it was iced over.
Wow.
So she got 4 days off.
But I mean, she got home in time before all the bad stuff. But I mean, I remember everybody being stranded. I've heard tons of stories about that over the years.
Wes could not get home. He was traveling on business, but he did luck out and he hit an exit ramp and he got to a Walmart at this exit ramp, and he actually spent the night in his car in a Walmart parking lot. But they kept that Walmart open, and he said there were like 40 people that were just like literally camping out in the Walmart store.
Sure. And I don't think.
What do you think about the Big 12 winning 3 games against the SEC, Will?
Nobody cares about bowl games unless they're in the playoffs.
Yeah.
I know, but Mississippi State gets blown out by Texas Tech, who had an interim coach. Ole Miss, I don't know if they beat Baylor with Corral, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
Well,
Baylor's defense was that stout.
In defense of Mississippi State, they lost 15 starters with COVID.
Oh, I didn't know that.
They didn't say anything till right before the game, so it was really kind of unfair to anybody that bet on them.
And the backup.
That's what's so scary on these games. Opt-out COVID guys that just decide not to play. I mean, bowl games are a bettor's nightmare.
Well, this Alabama-Georgia game, who's to say that one of these 36% positive rate, if a couple players for Alabama or Georgia get it, the whole dang team's going to get it in 24 hours.
I'm just going to tell you, they're going to be looking the other way.
Alabama's one of the very.
There ain't no way anybody's going to miss this game because of COVID.
Alabama's has 100% to the virus. I mean, by taking the shot.
All right, let's pick the game right now. Will's on. I don't know if we'll hear from Will the rest of the week. I mean, everybody, national media-wise, is picking Georgia again. Nobody's giving Alabama a chance again, it doesn't seem like. What do y'all think on the show right now?
I think you're going to see a better Georgia team than you saw against Alabama in the SEC championship, don't you think?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, they're going to be mean.
Mm-hmm. Motivated.
And they can get two. They physically could put our guy out of the game.
Yeah.
I mean, our guy's not a real physical guy.
Especially considering he's got 3 new offensive linemen.
Yeah. Mike, did you watch Kentucky?
I mean, did y'all see Alabama? Did y'all see Alabama get blown out?
Well, it happened to Alabama Clemson when Forrest Lee was there.
Oh, yeah.
But we had chances to score, didn't we?
Yeah.
But we ended up getting blown out, though.
They keep on talking about Stetson Bennett. I think it is in his head, but I mean, I don't know if they have to have Stetson Bennett to win the game.
Stetson Bennett. Proud, courageous, and bold. We'll be back right after this.
That's your Stetson Bennett song. Proud, courageous.
Hopefully.
It's the Big Finish pre-owned sales event. 120 used cars, trucks, and SUVs. $2.5 million in inventory. Starting at $2,995. Down payments as low as $29. And payments starting at just $99 a month. Shop at PremierTroy.com or come see us. Nobody beats a Premier deal. Nobody.
I wish you could taste how much better food tastes when cooked on a Green Mountain Grill. But I can let you in on the reason that's true. Our pellets contain water, so they create steam while you cook, keeping your food moist. Does a gas or charcoal grill do that? I think not.
Come and see us at Southern Grill and Patio just off the square in Troy.
More Force, we've been through a lot this year, from saving Christmas to facing some of our most nefarious foes.
Like the leprechaun.
Like the tax man.
Or the overpricer. And we defeated them all. So no matter what villain comes for our customers, they'll have to come through us first. We'll keep slashing our prices on new vehicles and beefing up our certified pre-owned selection. All just a click away at MitchellNissan.com. So whatever they need, the More Force is prepared.
More Force.
MitchellNissan.com. More, it's what we do.
Life is hectic enough without worrying if your lights will stay on or if there's hot water for your child's bath. So count on natural gas to keep the energy flowing, even when the weather is unpredictable. Natural gas is always there to keep your home warm, showers hot, and food cooked to perfection. That's why America has relied on safe and affordable natural gas for more than 150 years. And we will be here for you and future generations too. You can count on natural gas from Southeast Alabama Gas District.
It's the Big Finish event going on now at Premier Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram. Save up to $10,000 on new Ram 1500 or new Jeep Grand Cherokee. Save up to $10,000 during the Big Finish event at PremierTroy.com. Nobody beats a Premier deal. Nobody. It's the Big Finish pre-owned sales event. 120 used cars, trucks, and SUVs. $2.5 million in inventory. Starting at $2,995. Down payments as low as $29. And payments starting at just $99 a month. Shop at PremierTroy.com or come see us. Nobody beats a Premier deal. Nobody.
I wish you could taste how much better food tastes when cooked on a Green Mountain Grill. But I can let you in on the reason that's true. Our pellets contain water, so they create steam while you cook, keeping your food moist. Does a gas or charcoal grill do that? I think not.
Come and see us at Southern Grill and Patio just off the square in Troy.
More Force, we've been through a lot this year, from saving Christmas to facing some of our most nefarious foes.
Like the leprechaun.
Like the tax man.
Or the overpricer. And we defeated them all. So no matter what villain comes for our customers, they'll have to come through us first. We'll keep slashing our prices on new vehicles and beefing up our certified pre-owned selection. All just a click away at MitchellNissan.com. So whatever they need, the More Force is prepared.
More Force.
MitchellNissan.com. More, it's what we do.
Life is hectic enough without worrying if your lights will stay on or if there's hot water for your child's bath. So count on natural gas to keep the energy flowing, even when the weather is unpredictable. Natural gas is always there to keep your home warm, showers hot, and food cooked to perfection. That's why America has relied on safe and affordable natural gas for more than 150 years. And we will be here for you and future generations too. You can count on natural gas from Southeast Alabama Gas District.
Back to our show, ladies and gentlemen, brought to you by Premier Dodge, Chrysler, Jeep, and Ram trucks on the bypass in Troy. They're dealing like nobody else is dealing in this world when it comes to new and used cars and trucks from Premier Dodge, Chrysler, Jeep, and Ram trucks. Nobody, I mean nobody beats a Premier deal.
We were talking. Alabama's going to play Florida in basketball tonight in Florida, and I commented that some of us forget that Goshen had a basketball player that played at Florida. I think for 3 or 4 years.
I think his name's Damon Maddox.
He was really good, but that's
6'9", Goshen, Alabama, 6'9", 255.
Somebody else tell me a high school kid from Pike County that has played in the SEC in college basketball.
There's a kid Corey Daniels, Alabama.
Charles Anderson had a kid that walked on that played.
That's right.
Grant.
Corey Daniels.
Dante Hall out of Luverne.
Yep.
He started 3 years at Alabama a few years ago.
Yeah, that's right.
And the Pearson.
I can't think of anybody out of Troy though.
Yeah.
Brundage has somebody that's at.
The kid from Pike County might. Yeah.
He's in junior college this year.
Do you think we'd be in trouble if we drove over to Luverne tonight to watch the high school play?
That's tomorrow.
Tomorrow night, yeah.
I want to see Charles Henderson a couple of times, and I want to see Pike Liberal Arts a
Ladies
couple of
and
times.
gentlemen, we went from a hard freeze. I mean, yesterday was a hard freeze. And to a pretty good morning. And I think you're going to be able to move around today. I love this time of year, though. I really do.
Florida -2 tonight against Alabama. The game will be at 6 o'clock on ESPN2 if you want to watch the game.
Where's it going to be played?
Like Florida. Florida will win.
It's going to be played in Gainesville.
Why did you say Florida will win this game?
Florida will win this game. It's tough to win in Florida.
Can I get on the phone and call you and find out all the big games to take? And
I'll tell you, I think Alabama last year or 2 years ago under Oates, they beat Florida in Florida, and it was like the first time in forever. So you're right. It's Alabama.
It's hard to beat. When I was at Vandy, when the F Troop was playing,
Boston, Spear, Ford, and Van Petticott.
And we were 16-2 in the conference.
Wow.
Okay. Alabama was 16-2, but Alabama lost to us twice, so they didn't get to go to the NCAA tournament.
I was at the game. It was on a Sunday. I want to say it was on a Sunday afternoon in Tuscaloosa. I went to that game.
It was a Saturday. It was a Saturday because Monday night they played Mississippi.
But it was a day game, though. It was a day game. I know that.
It was a day game, and it was national TV. And
I went with Calhoun and Falk. You know Calhoun and Falk. I went with them.
Yeah, Terry Thompson stole the ball from T.R. Dunn and went down and made a layup, and they beat Alabama by 2 points.
But the guys, the F Troop was Fosness, Spear, Ford, and Brand Kettikov.
Well, the F Troop was just Fosness, Spear, and Ford.
Well, let's see. We're gonna put somebody on hold then.
All right, go ahead and put Mike on hold.
Mike, you might have to drop off. This is Max Howell.
Max,
good morning. You're on Today in L.A.
This is Max. How y'all?
See if you can get 3. I sure wish you could get 3. You know, it looks like it. Or just keep him on hold for a minute.
Well, somebody's got to drop
Ladies
off.
and gentlemen, Max Howell, one of the leading sports analysts in the country, and Max, I reckon everybody just said Georgia, 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 and more Georgia. Is that right? It's pretty. If pretty says good, Georgia's pretty good, aren't they? If pretty says good.
I'm taking down bets.
Who was that?
You can only just get line 3.
Hello.
Yeah, you're on.
We're on.
I was trying to get all 3 on the air, but you're back. We're sorry to interrupt you.
Well, is there anything you can do? Your telephone. You couldn't pick him up with that phone over there, could you?
Yeah, Mike. What I've noticed through the years, I mean, look, Kirby Smart's 0-4 himself. Georgia's 0-7 against Alabama the last 7 times they played. It's not the talent level. We all know it's coaching from the sideline wins those ball games, and Alabama's going to probably win this one for the same reason.
I tell you what, if Kirby had another stroke, and I mean a stroke like he had with that quarterback at the half of the night. I mean, he looked like the biggest baby in the world. I mean, Why would he make himself look so crazy? Would you, if you're a real top-notch recruit, would you want to play with that crybaby, or would you want to play with that coach that gets in your face like that?
See, mentally, he's still an assistant coach. Is we saw Muschamp do the same thing at Florida.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just that mindset that they hadn't quite grown up and realized where they are and what they got to do.
Do you want to go play for Saban, or do you want to go play for a whiner?
Yeah, he was chewing out Stetson Bennett on and on for something really didn't need to chew him out for.
Yeah, I thought that was
I thought the same thing.
Was a perfect example of how those two spoiled brats are.
Well, I mean, I don't think anybody can, deny that they got as good a talent as anybody to cook. It may be better than both. But the fact is, once you get them there, you got to coach them up. You got to put a game plan together that fits who you play. Alabama ran the football against Cincinnati for a reason. They gave them the defense to run it against, but Saban didn't want to throw it. He threw one pass that's going to be used against Georgia. That was a little half roll out where he threw it back to Brooks in the corner for a touchdown. They wanted to see what he could do on a rollout and how the defense would adjust. Georgia hadn't seen that yet. They're going to see a lot of it coming up this next weekend.
I'll tell you what, Robert is it Robinson, the great running back, number 4? Let me tell you this: he looked like a giant killer. I mean, he had those long legs. How tall is he? 6'3" or 6'4"? He looks tall.
No, he's maybe 6'1".
Well, I tell you what, I reckon the way he does it's knee pads. They don't. Max, you notice they don't even wear the damn knee pads anymore. I don't know how.
They're wearing short pants.
Yeah, wearing short pants out there. Wearing short pants. I tell you what, if they fell like I did yesterday, they wouldn't wear short pants.
You fell?
Yeah, I fell and landed on both knees.
Oh no!
Wow.
Don't worry. Of course, we got Mike Amos on the other side. Let's put somebody else going.
Hold on, we're going to try to bring in this person. Let's see. Hold conference.
Right, you got this.
All right, now you're back. You back? Is this Will or Mike? I think this is Will.
Who is this guy?
I think Mike dropped off. So, all right.
Will, you still on?
They lost him too.
Well, he's probably doing.
Of course, Max
lawyer
Howard
work.
calling in from Fulton, Mississippi, and what has Wimp said lately, Max? Have you talked to him?
Of course, he's a big Kirby Smart fan. He came through the Alabama program. Went, he's all Alabama, 32 years on the staff there, 20 as an assistant, 12 years as a head basketball coach. Still hold a bunch of records. Has a great morning show out of Tuscaloosa. I'm fortunate enough to be on with him every Monday morning. And we get a lot of in-depth conversation, but he's aware of Kirby's shortfalls, and that's making decisions during the ball game.
Yeah,
I don't know. I read yesterday the line went down. Alabama money jumped in there pretty big. It started off at 2.5, went to 3, then it came back to 2. I understand. Yeah. So that's really a pick-up ball game. Whoever makes a few mistakes.
Boy, I tell you what, that's something that doesn't happen much. Is for a team to
be a pick-em for the national championship.
Yeah, for the national championship against Alabama. But again, the key is holding them up. Is going to fighting them face to face and to a draw up front, and Alabama run the football like they did Saturday. Alabama was an awesome running attack.
Of course, you remember Robinson had a pulled hamstring in the first ball game. That's why they didn't run him very much. And of course, they gave him the pass because they had to rush on every time. And Bryce was able to pick them apart in that. Well, I think they're going to pull both parts of the game plan that worked the best and put it together. I don't know where Kirby's flexible enough to make that adjustment. I think it's going to be a great ball game. It might be as good as we've ever seen.
Yeah, you're exactly right, Max. I've said the same thing. It might be the best football game in the history of the game.
That's right.
It's just lining up to be that way.
Well, Alabama and Clemson had 2 that went down to the last quarter. One went to the last play where Deshaun Watson threw a touchdown pass to Hunter Renfrow on the last play. And then Alabama beats Georgia on the last play on a walk-off reception by a young freshman named Devontae Smith.
The Vince Young.
26.
Yep. Third, I think it was third and 26.
Vince Young in Texas over Southern Cal was a good one.
Okay, second 26.
Max, we got Will Matthews on the phone, Max.
I know, I hear you.
Hey, look, he was a little, listen, he was a little snotty-nosed kid just running around saying, hey, Coach, will you sign this chin strap? Ain't that right, Will?
No.
When Max was coaching at Carroll.
I was in my diapers.
Wouldn't you hated to have to change Will's diaper?
I don't know. I think I was probably, Max, what are you, 76 or something?
Oh, God. He wishes.
How old are you, Max?
I'll be 82 in May.
82.
All right, you're 82. I'm 65. So we're 17 years apart, and you were probably, 25 when you were coaching at Carroll?
23, I believe. That was my first coaching
job. I would have been in first or second grade. So.
Oh, okay, you'd been there. Yeah.
He was in the end zone playing football.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was there. I guarantee you, though.
Now, Max, you didn't. Of course, you weren't there when Mickey Andrews and Billy Knowles played for Carroll, were you? And
they had just graduated. Just recently graduated. Mickey, Alabama, Knowles, Georgia.
Yeah. Let me tell you this. Of course, the quarterback was Elmore was.
Joe Kelly.
Yeah, and
Joe Kelly.
What now?
Joe Kelly was his quarterback.
No. With Billy Knowles, and then it was Grady Elmore Jr.
Max, I wonder how many athletes have you been around? If you go back to coaching at Troy, and God, it's thousands.
I had one time I had been on the field with at least 35 NFL players.
Oh.
Through my career.
Max, did Buddy Cranford coach with you?
Yes, he was the head coach, and I ran the outfits for him.
All right, Buddy Cranford was one of the best golfers to ever play golf.
I know it. He was.
That's right. I remember seeing him. I saw the big showdown that day. And you know who else was in there? I want to say Elmore was in there. It was Albert Elmore, and it was the great player out of Montgomery, the young player McClendon, and then your coach from Ozark. I was carrying the bag that day.
Yeah, Buddy Cranford was a great golfer.
Yeah, I remember. But I tell you something else about it though. The chain smoker. I was
waiting. I'm sure.
Did you hear that? Right. What did you say now, Max?
I'm sure Buddy's passed away years ago.
Yeah. What did you say, Max, about him?
I was waiting for you to finish. That was the thing I remember about him. But he's a short guy that can chain smoke every day.
And you know what? Another crazy guy, Tom McClendon, was coaching at the high school around that time, and he was a chain smoker. And you know what he chain smoked with? He smoked Picayunes. He smoked Picayunes. The strongest cigarette in the world.
I've never even heard of that brand, Picayunes.
Picayunes. Those folks from people are laughing.
Coach Bryant smoked Chesterfield.
Yeah, that's right. But those Picayunes had a terrible smell to it too.
Tom McClendon's son and I grew up together all the way through school, and he's a Baptist preacher over in Georgia. And his mother's still living, and she lives out at Skipperville.
Well, I'll remember this. We had some trouble on the bus after the op game, and we went over to Bob's drive-in place, and for some crazy reason, they pulled up at the barbecue place and told all the guys to get out.
Uh-huh.
Well, we went out and walked in. Well, when they came back, the bus was just splattered with everything, broken windows, all that. And listen to this. And we got in the bus, and Leon Hilliard was trying to calm us down. And you know what? Tom McClendon said, Snooky, get my gun. That's one name. Maybe that was a nickname for his wife. But he said, Snooky, get my gun. And if Leon Hilliard was there, he was going to let all the guys out, and we'd had a giant free-for-all. Thank goodness Leon Hilliard was there.
her name, Mike. Her name's Martha, but she goes by Snooky, and everybody calls her.
That's right. So we're right. I was just a young 10th grader on that team, and I'll remember him saying, "Snooky, get my gun."
That could be
the football coach.
That'd be a great name for a movie. Snooky, get my gun.
Oh, man. We're having fun like we always do on this show. I hope Nick and
I'm gonna use that. Snooky, get my gun.
I'll be out there tonight, guys. We're gonna have a good time celebrating.
Mike, I'm probably now. I'm one of the few people that picked Alabama to win against Georgia in the SEC championship, and I said it'd be at least 2 touchdowns, and everybody laughed at me.
You're not going to do it again this time, though, are you, Will? Please don't. Are we going to have I can see us having a for sale sign outside of Matthew's law firm.
All right, I will tell you what's going to happen.
I want to hear it.
We're going to control the clock, short passes, run the ball. We're going to keep the ball. We're going to dominate the game the first half and probably be up 14 to 17 points.
Well, their coach is going to have a stroke if that happens. He's going to have a stroke.
No, this is what's going to happen.
Change the quarterback.
Georgia's going to change quarterbacks at the half.
Okay.
They're going to bring in that passer, and they're going to fill up the back, and that's when we're going to get in trouble. And we're going to have to hold on for victory. We might win, but it's going to be they're going to be the second half. They're going.
The sad thing about all this.
I think Alabama wins, but I think Georgia stays it close. I say 6 to 8 points is probably all they'll get. All they'll win by.
I think it'll be close.
Max, there's no question that Georgia's backup quarterback is at least a top 5 quarterback in the country. Wouldn't you say?
Well, why hadn't he played, Mike?
What now?
Why hadn't he played?
I don't know. I just can't understand it.
Kirby's got a track record of not handling quarterbacks very well, as I recall.
This guy's a statue. He can't run.
Now I like Ole Miss, but I know you heard a lot about this, Max. That old second string quarterback at Ole Miss, boy, if they got to play with a guy like that, boy, they're in trouble. I reckon you guys said, here we go.
Listen to this, Mike. They got 26 seniors on that team. They only signed 8 in the first signing period. They ain't signed a quarterback yet.
Isn't that unreal? That kid can't play quarterback for anybody.
He started off rough, but he had a little stretch there where he was doing okay.
But he was always trying to run, and he couldn't even get
quick,
started.
though. He's quick.
He got sacked. Oh God, he got sacked about 10 times. I think.
Well, his offensive line is not very good either.
Yeah.
I mean, it's been adequate for them to win 10 football games, but not when they get to play the big boys. They can't do it.
I was wondering if it's a possibility we could call Mike and get him on your cell phone, and let him get involved in this. Of course, Max Howell calling in.
Max Lane Kiffin will have 5 quarterbacks by next year. He's going to get them in the transfer portal.
That's what he's probably going to do. Yeah.
That's what he's doing. Yeah, that's what he's doing. But the ones he's going after, he would have to Gabriel in Central Florida. He's going to Oklahoma. He went after Bo Nix for a while. And of course, he's going to Oregon. Have some top guys, but they aren't.
Hey, your daddy wanted me to call you and get you on the phone, put you on speaker. I got Max McCann and Will on the other lines. Is that okay? All right.
Ladies and gentlemen, hey Max, Will said he's going to get off, but
Will, thank you. To school.
Well,
he's got to take Millie to school.
Well, you can stay on, Will. We're going
to get him.
All right.
But something I would like to say, Max,
I want to hear what Forrest thinks about this game.
But on the protocol, what it is like this Oklahoma quarterback's on the
portal.
He's in the portal, and all he's doing is he's
shopping.
Say, sir, this is so and so with Oklahoma. I'll come there for $20,000 a month.
Yeah.
I'll come there for $500,000 a year.
Right?
What?
I mean, that's what they've allowed to do.
All it is a bargain deal, isn't it?
You get some booster that says, well, I'm really doing a marketing deal with this kid.
Rattler's already going to South Carolina. He's already signed with
Yeah. That surprised me. Evidently, this guy with South Carolina must be the real deal. Mike Amos, what do you say about that?
I think SMU is probably going to be in the top 10.
He had to go.
Who?
SMU will be in the top 10.
Oh, going back to
all those Texas schools will be.
Max Howell calling in from Fulton this morning, and of course, Max, you got all this going on the portal. Do you just consider it as I mean, it's going to be bad before it gets any better? Don't you agree?
Like to get better.
Well, no, I don't, Mike. I mean, guys, here's what y'all forget all the time: the NCAA cut the scholarships from 4 years to 1 year. That means the kid ain't got but 1 year wherever he is.
Okay, so I didn't know they did that.
I mean, think about that.
So they won't take anybody over two years of eligibility. I mean, you mean in the portal they get just 1 year?
Well, your scholarships are renew every year.
Everybody gets 1 year, Mike.
Yeah. But that's always pretty much been that way. But
it's 1 year scholarships.
Yeah, okay.
It's kind of been considered poor form to not honor it. You know, when you do run off a kid and say I ain't letting you keep your college, if that gets out, that's bad advertising.
Yeah.
And so it rarely got out, but technically, yeah, those scholarships you can cut somebody every year for.
Well, you know, these guys have already hammered him, and I'm gonna hammer him again. Mississippi State's coach acts like an old man. God, he acts like an old man.
The Pirate?
Yeah. What do you think, Will? I mean, what do you think? What do you think, Max, about him?
I like him.
Well, you know, I think the performance on the field, you know, evaluates. I don't evaluate their personality or how they handle things. I mean, you can go down the list. Nick Saban's not the most popular guy in the world either.
No, I know that. Yeah.
An outstanding football coach, but you know, by his own admission, he'll say, "I'm not a good friend to BDP," and he's not. But he gets the job done.
This guy is not a personality guy, is he?
Well, you know,
well, I know he's a good talk show guy, but he's not a football coach. I don't think.
Oh, he's great. What are you talking about? That guy's a good coach. He's won at places nobody could win.
Well, I tell you what, he's going to have a hard time winning at Mississippi State the way his team plays.
Well, I didn't know until 30 minutes ago that Mississippi State was without 15 starters in that bowl game because of COVID.
I mean, they didn't have a prayer because of COVID.
That's the shame, yeah.
And A&M
they
didn't
played
play.
like 45 players in that ball game. I'm not a fan of his system. I think his system can be demolished. Alabama should prove that when they beat up by 40. And, you know, and I think other teams, you know, that break that system down, but you got to get to the quarterback. Yeah. What they're going to do, they're going to put more guys out there. You know, you got to play zone coverage with them because they're going to run 5 out there every time, just about.
Oh boy!
Auburn did a fabulous job against Mississippi State. I really enjoyed that one. They did a wonderful job. Yeah. Mississippi State whacked them about 35 straight points. I mean, it was ridiculous.
Yeah, that's true. Well, Forrest, what do you think about the Alabama Georgia?
I think it'll be close. It'll come to the fourth quarter, and we'll know then. But roll tide.
Toss up or what?
Yeah.
Could be. It just depends on the offensive line, I think.
What is over under? It surprised me. Well, what, 52?
The over-under is 58, I think.
58, okay. That's that one makes it tougher a little bit. Of course, Max Howell is calling in. Max, what's for dinner, my friend?
Mike, let me tell you, we're in our last week now, this week, and these guys over here are either fishing on the warm days, they're on the river fishing, or on cold days, they're in the woods hunting. So we'll either probably do a combination of fish and deer meat this past weekend. I got one friend that killed 3 8-points this week.
Oh boy!
And they got a man from Mississippi. 300,000 deer were killed over here last year.
Well, that is a lot of deer right there.
I looked it up, Mike. I looked it up. The over/under is 52 for the game, Alabama game Monday night.
Send some of them hunters to Alabama. We need a few eradicated. We got too many.
It's hard. That one's really hard to figure. Yeah, it's going to be, Max. You've seen a lot of football, and you've been around them. You coached there. You've been a spectator. You've been an analyst, like very few people. Max, it might be the greatest football game ever played in the state in this country.
If both teams play to their potential, it's going to be a back and forth ball game. I truly believe that.
It's going to be one of the great games of all time. Wouldn't you say?
I think that last one. I think the first one Alabama beat when they beat Georgia the first time. Yeah. On that last play with Tua threw that ball in the end zone. That was a mistake on the defensive back part. He took a bite on the in and out, an out pattern, and of course it came. Alabama wins it, but that's what it's going to be, something like that this time, I believe. Alabama's going to balance their offense. They're not going to be all throw, all run. They're going to have a good balance.
Everybody talks about Georgia's front, their defensive front, and linebackers, and another thing, depth-wise, Alabama's got to have keep running it in and out so they can't substitute. That's going to be. Don't you think that's going to be real big?
I think they're going to run a fast pace. I do believe that.
Yeah, but the thing is. The thing that makes this game so great is that Georgia is tough, they're badasses, but let me tell you this, Alabama is tough and they're badasses. Their fronts, the fronts are about even, really. Maybe Georgia a little bit more, but Alabama's front is very good with number 31.
Yeah, 31 needs to have one of those games like Derek Thomas had against Penn State when he single-handedly took over the game. That would help Alabama's cause.
I think they move him around too. I think that I think he'll be a stand-up linebacker. He can put his hand on the ground on the wide side. I think they're going to use him to his full capacity this week.
Yeah.
I've been watching a lot of the hype shows and the feature stories on Georgia and Alabama, and I got to say, Georgia has some well-spoken, interesting players. When you see the interviews of them, they speak well, and they seem like high-character kids.
All right.
And that running back, number 3, White, he has a great story. He overcame bad birth defects at birth, and then he's had 2 major knee injuries, and he keeps coming back with this good attitude. And then their nose guard that's so big and fast. He is great with people, and he's very well spoken.
Let's see, number 99. How much he weigh, Mike? Do you know?
365 pounds, I think.
Three. I thought it was more than that. And of course he can move too. I was watching one game. I don't know if y'all saw it or not. In the University of Minnesota, they had a lineman run the ball. And he weighed 380 pounds.
Oh gosh!
And they put him at fullback. 6'8", weighed about 380 or 400 pounds. And they gave it to him. You could just sort of see it look like the great oceans that separated. Nobody wanted to stick their head in there.
These guys are so big.
But they run this guy on goal line situations. That's not a bad idea. Or short yardage.
You remember Refrigerator Perry at Clemson?
That's
the first one I remember doing that.
Yeah. Troy used to have a tight end.
They did that. Reggie Dwight,
yeah.
And then they gave it to Al Lucas. Remember, Al?
Yeah.
I gotta tell y'all something funny. I was listening to a radio talk show, and some idiot called in and said, "Well, it's going to be 19 degrees up there in Indianapolis, and these Alabama boys and Georgia boys, they don't know how to handle that cold weather. It's going to be a low-scoring game, low.
Yeah.
They didn't know they played indoors."
So that indoor practice facilities come in handy the last couple of days.
Well, let me tell you something, Will. I can't remember a lot of things, but I can remember this. They've got a steak restaurant in downtown Indianapolis called Elmo's. Remember that. Elmo's Steakhouse is about as good as you're going to find anywhere.
Like the Sesame Street character Elmo?
That's right. Elmo's is the name of it.
I won't be eating at Elmo's.
Yeah. Why not?
I'm going to be driving to the game and leaving. I'm not going to be
Okay.
at all.
Well, it's good to know that we got you in the stadium.
Oh yeah, I'll be there, and I've got a real good track record on national championship games.
Knock on wood.
I've only seen them lose. Once, and that was in Tampa when they an obvious pass interference penalty gave Clemson the game with 1 second to go. But Jalen Hurts cost us that game, and he made a 35-yard run with about 2 minutes to go. He should have laid down on the 1 yard line, and so we could run out to the clock.
Yeah, right.
Where the guy couldn't do that. But, they were only up by 3, and that guy, there was no way he wasn't going to take them down there for a field goal.
Yeah, we couldn't stop him. That would have been really heady for a freshman to do it, but that would have been the play. Slide.
That would have been the play. Slide.
That's the one, and then run out the clock so he cannot do that because everybody knew he was going to take them right down the field, and he did.
Oh, yeah.
Max, let me ask you this. What do you think about Notre Dame defense in the second half? Have you ever seen a worse defense in your life?
Yeah, well, they had a coaching change there. I'm gonna be anxious to see, how the new staff does with that, with that bunch and things like that. I wanted to ask Will. I had a real interesting conversation yesterday with a real close friend of mine that's close to the official association. And the word I'm getting,
ACC.
the same crew from the ACC is going to call this game with Alabama and Georgia that called the Tennessee Purdue game.
Oh God!
Max. You're exactly right. Somebody told me yesterday it's the same. It's ACC.
Yep.
They call them ACC 1. They're the top-rated ACC officials,
Right.
and that's who we're getting. And they're the ones that blew the call on Tennessee. The guy obviously scored, but they blew the whistle.
Yeah.
That's
Why
right.
blow the whistle? You don't ever blow the whistle.
It's called an inadvertent whistle.
I believe that was a female official.
There's two calls they're going to make, guys, against Alabama. They're going to make the hand fight to the defensive backs. They're going to call pass interference, and also they're going to call holding on the line of scrimmage. That's two calls.
Oh, don't get me started. Y'all have heard me. If you listen to the show all year,
Alabama, I guarantee you, if that's the case, Alabama will get 100 yards of field.
They're one of the most penalized teams in the nation. I heard on the broadcast in the Cincinnati game that Alabama has had 17 pass interference calls this year.
I was thinking more than that, almost.
Well, in one game they had like 3 back-to-back-to-back.
It's pathetic.
Yeah.
And some of them are legit, but 60% of them are marginal or bogus. Holding calls same way. These referees from high school to the pros, they determine the outcome of game with calls that they don't need to call.
Want to mention that Premier Dodge Chrysler Jeep and Ram trucks on the bypass in Troy. Jason is dealing like he's ever dealt before. I mean, he's dealt so wonderful, and he continues to give you a great opportunity to buy a new or used car or truck from Premier Dodge Chrysler Jeep. Do me a favor. Call us on Monday, if you will, Max. Do you think you can get in?
What did I say again, Mike?
I'd like for you to call us on Monday and give us your report.
Yeah, I can. I'll try to get in on Monday if you can.
All right, we appreciate it.
Monday or Tuesday?
Well, no, Monday's going to be
the game day.
You can call in on both days, but we'll call in and. All right, I tell you what, call in on Tuesday. That'd be fine. Hope you've enjoyed our show. Appreciate Forrest Lee, appreciate Rice, and all the other folks that make this show a #1 show in your living room every morning. We'll see you later tomorrow, bright and early today.
That's Jack's birthday tomorrow.
Hang on, Max. Hang on.